this remembrance came to me as we were in the office before we came out here. Years ago, I was standing over, when I still lived here, standing over at this place. And I was on that side of the room, and I still remember. This vision came in a pre-prayer time. And it was one of those things that dropped into me, and I did not know what it was about. It was actually a little bit strange, because, but here's the vision I saw. I knew it was out of the book of Nehemiah, but I saw someone laying down amongst the rubble in Jerusalem, where the wall had been destroyed and the city had been ransacked by the Babylonians. And as I was over here praying, I was seeing this image of this person laying there, and there was major destruction in the city and the wall. And then something began to happen as I was looking into this vision. The wind began to blow. The sun began to come out. And I saw grass grow and turn incredibly green, as something you would see on a beautiful spring day. You know, those early spring days when the grass comes and just, it's beautiful, isn't it? Amen. And I saw that happen in this image. And I saw the man laying there amongst the rubble, because the rubble was very interesting. It started out real bad, but as everything turned green and the wind began to blow, the stones that were laying around turned white. It was actually a good thing. And I saw this man, as that wind blew, he slowly set up like this, and that wind was blowing in his hair. The wind is the move of the Spirit, obviously, the prophetic natures of God. And I saw this man, all of a sudden his eyes came open. His hair was blowing. He looks around. He sees that, you know what, it's changed. There's life here again. And he slowly got up. And he began to go and he began to clear away the rubble. And he began to take the precious stones and began to start rebuilding. And then it ended just like that. It's like it wasn't even in concert with what was going on at that moment in our pre-prayer time. And that, I had not thought about that in a long time, and that plopped on me. Can I tell you, this is what Tom and Andrea have done in this house?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
This is what they've done. You have a man and a woman and a family, and many of you joined with them. They couldn't do it on their own. Because you see, when you have a vision, which we all were articulating and you were amening this morning, there's always an enemy that wants to come and derail it, mess it up, and in order to hope to cause discouragement to the point where people will just give up and leave the city, and the city will stay in ruins. But then there are men and women that love Jesus and know what it is, that this call didn't come from a man. This call came from God. And there are men and women that will connect with God and have the breeze blow again and will anticipate, no, this isn't the end, because this didn't come from man, it came from God. I want you to know something, church. This is what this couple has done among you. They called upon God when things didn't look good, and many of you stood with them. And things begin to change, and the wind began to blow, and the grass began to get green again. And they begin to rise up and go. And I want you to know it is a great joy and privilege, because this calling that's taking them to California, which they're not leaving, it's an expansion for this house, just like Pittsburgh has been an expansion for this house. That call started in the Garden of Eden.
That's right.
Be fruitful, multiply, and fill. And many of you know in his ordination there was a prophetic word that was given that would indicate that at some point he would go back to that place and there would be life brought there again. You know what? It's a great moment and a great opportunity in the life of this church to see Tom and Andrea and the family sent to Fresno while you and we still connect and still help them. It's a joyful day. It's a sad day. There's all kinds of mixtures of emotions, isn't there? But I just want to say this as we get ready to pray over them. We need to thank God for what this family has done for this house.
Yes, that's right.
Now, I'm kind of emotional. I know we're going to see them a lot. 40 days, you're going to be back. That came up Friday night. I guess that was something that you've talked about before. I know they're going to be back. But yet at the same time, guys, these guys have paid a price.
That's right.
They did it willfully. They did it because Tom Bedford. This wasn't about man doing anything. It was about God calling them to do something. But they've endured many battles. Some you know about, some you probably don't know about. But I'm going to tell you something. This church owes a debt of gratitude to God.
Yes.
And to these guys for sending them in His providence and His sovereignty into this place for such a time as what you walk through, getting us to such a time as this. Well, they'll be able to take what they've learned and what God has put in their lives here. I told Tom the other night, he's a lot like Timothy was when Timothy was sent into Ephesus. It was a monumental task that wasn't good at that time. Timothy was young and seemed ill-prepared. But by the time he left this earth, he had become something that turned that church around. And he was a shining example. And you've heard Tom say it over and over. I know I helped you, but you made me. You've heard this said, right? But can we do something before we get ready to worship and pray? I want to thank God. Now you can point to a lot of things, and it was God in all of them. But I know one thing I can point to. Without Tom and Andrea Bedford and the Bedford family standing firm in a ground that looked awful.
That's right. Come on.
Standing firm and saying, no,
That's right.
we're going to go for God or we're going to die. Because of what they've done. Because of their planting, we exist, and you get to go into this day.
That's right. That's right.
Now, I don't know how to do it. It can be applause, it can be whatever. But we need to stand and thank God for this wonderful gift and family God has placed in this place. Can we do that right now?